try this a bunch of times as we do, but while we're here for these more seconds, I'm gonna tell you I love you. Love you, love you. Love you, love you, love you. Love you, love you. Love you more? Is it staying? How about that? I can say. No, I didn't. Alright, I knew it. I didn't know it was gonna go. Love is true. Are we live? I have gone live and got kicked off of the live at least 12 times. Poor Melty, just hang in there. Thank you, Kristen. My mind just wants to solve the problem. I'm like, what am I already deleted the app and reinstalled the app. Now I'm like, should I do some sort of caching thing? I think I now figured out some sort of workflow. So what happens is I I start the live. It disconnects me. Then I start the live again by resuming. Then it disconnects me. Then I'm supposed to exit out the app. I'm supposed to go in the app, then exit out the app, then like completely clear the apps off of my phone, then open the app again, and then it was still live the previous time, so I hit resume again, and then it works. Easy. Casual workflow. I'm very excited, so maybe the technology is spazzing out, just to like test my patience a little bit. I'm quickly gonna go and get my Dynavap. I'll be back in a second. Give you a peer into the world. Sweet. I am excited. I'm feeling all of the RGs. So much RGs. It is the last day before the rest of my life kind of energy. Alright. See, my nuggets too sticky. Okay, thank you. I mean, I've changed. You friends have watched me change multiple times as a person. But I am well aware of the fact that I am about to change again. I am well aware of the fact that I have been changing. That I've made a few key decisions recently, all of which have been influencing my overall state of being. One of them has been more mindfulness with the words I use. I try to use less fill words. I don't know if your friends have noted that or if it mattered, but it's something that I try to do, and it is something that has made a difference in my own personal interpretation of the words that I say. I did some fasting, and I also did some keto, which I feel definitely did add a lot of emphasis on the awareness of the energy systems of my human body. The things that I feel give me energy and the things that take away from me energy. I have noticed in this my relationship with food, at least in my opinion, growing more healthy. I have not been consuming as excessively, which I feel is also something that helps my personality bring a little bit more excitement. There has been a conservation of energy that I feel has been paying dividends and giving back to me as well in ways that I might not have anticipated. There has been an attempt before to practice like that, but with no real understanding of why, I think. And you're like, that makes no sense, Mel. I know. I'm speaking in ways where it doesn't really make sense because it's kind of embarrassing, as you do. As one does. Love is true. We're here, we're live. I don't know if my comments are not loading now, though. Maybe it's just me and you friends. So yeah, excitement. And then specifically, today's stream topic is, even though it is about all of those things and has been inspired by all of those things, has been inspired by Jovan, me being excited for Jovan being on the plane right now. She's going to land here tomorrow. Tomorrow this time, we're going to be live streaming from an airport to go and pick her up. I'm very excited about that. I very, very much am excited about that. But as this excitement has manifested in my life, it has made it clear to me the importance that excitement plays in our human experience. A while ago, we had a conversation about excitement on stream, and I remember Sensane joining us and adding to this topic by almost discouraging excitement. And then today on the yoga mat, I had this line, that really came up in me. I thought about Sensei. I thought about his teaching of not letting yourself get excited. But I also thought about this teaching I had this weekend with a guy named Dylan, I believe, where his girlfriend, usually she hypes herself up for the internationals that are going to play at these festivals. She gets excited, for how their sets are supposed to be or what they're gonna be like. And then she gets there, and then sometimes she's disappointed. And then I was thinking about that teaching as well. And then in that moment, it registered to me that there is a difference between expectations and excitement, right? I feel excitement is an energy that arises despite expectations. Sure, there might be some expectations in excitement, like there's something to be excited for, but in that way, it's something to be excited for, right? Like the thing being in and of itself is worthy of excitement, instead of it having with expectations to be a certain way for you to feel your excitement was worth it or something. So happy that things are, just happy that things are, right? Or it could be, will be, is exciting to me. Love is true, right, Kristen? It is super exciting. I'm excited for your excitement, which is good because I could use some excitement. I mean, I saw your capybara outfit, bro. Weirdly enough, I see, like, let me give you some context, right? I'm scrolling Reddit to distract myself, with my downtime or whatever. And I'm scrolling, and then I stumble upon a post, made me smile, something like that, r/smile, something, right? And I'm paying attention to what I'm looking at. I'm like, person on a capybara riding them. He basically looks like a centaur. And I'm like really looking at this guy, and I'm like, bro, this guy looks like Duck Dad. I'm pretty sure this guy's Duck Dad. And then I click on your post, and it, like, clear as day, your username is Duck Dad. I'm like, this is Duck Dad. This is freaking Duck Dad. Bro, how about that, dude? You're famous. That post did well, right? Like the last I saw it had like 1,800 upvotes or something. That's something to be excited about. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I don't have anything to be excited about, says Duck Dad. So many things. I'm excited for all of the gay fellas that slide into your DMs if you make the top page of Reddit. Oh, you're talking about yourself. I mean, you do have like bear vibes. Oh, you do kind of have bear vibes. Compliment. Love is true. People wanting to love you means love is true. Boom. Right? That's all you can take that from it. Oh, love is true. Doesn't have to be weird. Doesn't have to be weird unless you make it weird. My favorite was someone calling me Papi Barra. 30K upvotes now! Yay! You'll see. Yeah, I was there when it was still new, when it was still fresh. Nice. Look at you, bro. That's something to be excited about. 2 million impressions. Goodness. It's actually kind of ridiculous. I've only gotten 1.5 million impressions on my entire YouTube channel throughout its entire lifetime. I've only gotten 146,000 views on my channel over its entire lifetime. And you dwarfed my analytics, of a single post. Sure, it's not the same, but shows you how powerful these tools are making us. Whew, if only those impressions came with money, alright? Tell me about it. Internet cloud. If only internet cloud fed my children. Duck Dad says. Remember, Duck Dad loves the gays. Of course, bro. I don't think there was any doubt about that. I also, that happened to me a lot more when it was still RPAN days. Goodness me. I unfortunately made the mistake. I made the mistake of opening some of the chat windows. If you ever wondered why Melt isn't always actively just talking online, Melt got scarred. Melt got properly scarred. Starry-eyed Melt. Oh, I'm gonna talk to people. Suddenly sees Pebness. Sees Pebness on my screen. Like, bro, did I sign up for? Oh goodness. Love is true. Again. Triple love is true. That's the way it should be. Goodness, our band days were wild. So many. Yeah, bro. What a trip. Dude, there was one live streamer who would do naked what do you call it? Hop, skip, and jumping, bro. Or was it I don't think he did it on his live streams, right? But with the RPAN vibes, you click on people's profiles and you go into their profiles. Right? And I see this person RPANning, and I'm like, oh, that person. And I click on his profile, and then suddenly I'm skipping. I'm like, oh! The amount of shock, dude. Yes, naked jump rope sounds so fun. Dude, the man knew what he was doing, right? And then suddenly my eyes knew what he was doing too, unfortunately, bro. It's been years. It's been 3 years since that day. I'm still just as scarred. I'm still just as attached. Maybe I should make a Duck Dad riding a capybara t-shirt, but my designer is on a plane to South Africa. Yeah, bro. Cry more. She only busy for the first 9 hours. Hit her up, dinner time, dog. So I'm just kidding. I know. Mel, you look good in plaid. Is it plaid? Is that how you say it? This is how I used to dress. This was literally the way Melt dressed when I was still in the corpo world. When I was working with government contracts. Sounds cool. It's actually just AV. I was just getting government contracts for microphones and projectors and speaker systems in the roofs. So still government contracts. Right, so imagine this look, Melt, but also slick back hair. I used to literally gel my hair. Slick back, right? This would still be loose, but business up front, Melt. If you look straight at me, you're like, yes, bro, this guy's streamlined, bro. This guy goes fast. Yeah. I like this Melt more. The reason... I just realized what I just did. The reason I dressed like this today is because, one, I did go and see some clients, and that did affect some of my decision making. But also, two, I'm trying to wear all of the clothing that I don't plan on wearing going forward, right? So I can just put it in my bin and forget about it until it gets washed in like 10 days or whatever. But I went to go and see two different clients today. I mean, I don't know if the one is a client just yet, but a potential client. Roberto, with an E, Rebo, Roberto. He owns a EV charging company here in South Africa. And at the festival, I had the Starlink up, so we had internet at that venue. And he was like, "Can I take a photo, right, of this scene, of like the Starlink on the car giving Wi-Fi?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can do that. That's no problem." He takes a photo and he tells me what he does. Tells me that he sells EV chargers. I'm like, "Bro, I really like EVs, bro. Like I almost obsessively like EVs." And I basically explained to him my enthusiasm. He appreciates the enthusiasm. We exchanged numbers, and yesterday, this morning, was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. I sent him a message. I'm like, "Hey, bro, didn't forget about you. Still thinking about helping any way I can. If you have help for me to help with in the EV world, I want to." And then, because I had to go through to Midrand today for another client, I mentioned to him that I'm coming through to Johannesburg side, and that we could maybe meet up, a little bit earlier as well. He schedules me in, we meet, we have some conversations about what I'm doing, basically telling him about what we've been doing as friends, for the last while, and the progress that has come with that. And it basically becomes established that I am someone who makes media, and that is now the door that has been opened in that space as well, to potentially do some more brand management for the EVs too. I like EVs. I like EVs. Give me something EV related, bro. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you. And no problems. I don't know if I want to do that indefinitely, but I do want to be a part of that journey as well. EVs are still very new in South Africa, and there is a lot of potential. So much potential for growth. This is the way it should be, right? Hey, who needs tears? Nice having you here. Sending you blessings. Can't wait to get Mel out of the Midwest and dress him up in full flannel shirts and jeans. Am I gonna get a cowboy hat too? I could rock it. Bro, give me those boots with the little thingies on them. I want them. I want a spinny. Give me one of those. Mel, they used to use those things to hurt the horses. I don't want to hurt horses. I just want to go spinny. That looks cool. What else? I'm trying to think about Americanized things, right? That my mind has gotten stuck to. That's like, yeah, this thing America. I want to say the words, I like guns, but that sounds just wrong, I like the idea of guns. I like the craftsmanship behind them. And I do not like the fact that they launch projectiles at insane speeds in a direction. It seems like unnecessary risk you're introducing into your world. But I probably will see a bunch of guns if I ever go to America. Is that how it is? Is that how it be? I mean, South Africa is very gun friendly as well. I've seen many guns. Not like, oh, what is a gun? I've shot guns as well, I have done all of those things. I am a good shot even, right? I used to in high school do like shooting as a sport as well. So I like guns. Again, and then the only reason I got into shooting as a sport in high school is because they were air pellets. So you're shooting like a little piece of lead with compressed air. So they don't make as much boom, which is also nice. And you also get to have that satisfaction of aiming something, right? Stimulate some sort of primal urge to hit a target from a distance, What am I saying? I don't really know. Maybe I'm arguing for both sides of the spectrum. In South Africa, let me communicate that part as well. In South Africa, we have a really good, I would say, and established system to getting a firearm as well, right? Like you have to go and get licensed. So you go with your ID, you go to a professional who is certified. He tells you how to safely operate. Please, Mr. Fly, can you give me some personal space? Like there's a lot of room all the way out there for you. A professional teaches you how to use this deadly weapon safely, right? And then you basically show your proficiency over courses, multiple courses, right? I think it takes something like it's like 6 weeks before you're actually allowed to go to a place and purchase a firearm, right? And if you do, that firearm is attached to your name. Freaking fine. There's a jumping spider above my head, Mr. Jumping or Mrs. Jumping Spider. Coming back, things to be excited about. I'm excited for America to adopt better rules of access to firearms. How just, how inspirational. I like a part of me hopes that is actually going to happen at some point for you friends too. If you wear a cowboy hat in Chicago, the gays will come calling again. Bro. I'll make it work though. I'll make it work. Mel and Kristen, love is true. Louisiana, blessing Connor and Contunes, Duck and Sam and Nancy and Tears. Love you, friend. What's the best time of year to visit Chicago? I wouldn't know. But there are more guns than people in the US. That is kind of wild. Hey, please, Mr. Fly, please. Like, please, actually, please. I'm asking nice. Alright? I'm gonna have to take offense and try and purposefully murder you if you stay close to me. You're skizzing my brain out, dude. Freaking flies. Is it still cold in spring? I couldn't go there in winter. Yeah, no. Total crapshoot, Nancy. It could be very winter, like very rainy, or very mild, almost impossible to predict. Like I want to argue with you, but you literally live there, so I can't. Right? Like, but hearing someone say the weather is hard to predict to me almost doesn't make sense. Almost. I know that it can be like that for you friends, where like you can have like 3 different seasons in a day, right? It snows, and then like it's super windy, and then it snows, and then by midday the snow is melted and the sun is blasting down on you, and you're like sweating, right? Sure, my mind can't. I can't even. Here in South Africa, it's like either one of two things. It's either hot or it's not hot, right? But it's never cold the way it is for you friends. Not really. Not really. I don't think I experienced proper minus temperatures even once this past year. Hey, Zano, it's nice seeing you here with us, friend. New Mr. Lizardman is coming up to climb into the wall. Hey, lizard friend. Hello. I do see you, but I'm not gonna chase you down. Like you're social. Oh, they just ate the bug. Nice. Nice, you got him. I kind of want to show you they're eating it. You see it chewing? Yum, 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 yum. Yum, yum, yum. That's so cool, dude. Thank you. A part of me is believing that it was the fly that was bothering me. And I really do appreciate that, bro. That's a solid you just did me, dude. That's a real solid. When you see her watching me, I'm seeing you. I'm saying thank you. Yeah. Mojo, that beautiful little fact. And others are why will like me never have to endure a land invasion war occurring here. It's just not worth it for anyone. Mel, I have a house spider. I've always wanted one. He lives in the corner in the downstairs bathroom. I call him Gary. Every time I kill a fly, which is lots in the season, I put it in Gary's web and he comes and grabs it. That is so wholesome. I do stuff like that too, LA. It's so nice. I had this little spider. I mean, it wasn't that little. It was like this big, right? Which is big to me. And it was a jumping type. Super black, fluffy, and then it had like this white, white stripe on its back. And I watched that spider grow because I had like this backing, like a sunshade, and then behind it there was the window. So things would somehow get into the room with the lights being on at night, and then by the time the next day, the window would be the thing where most of the light comes, that the insects would be drawn towards that, and then get stuck in that windowsill. And that spider was just like, nice. And I watched that little thing grow because it was in my computer room. So I had multiple experiences over and over and over with just like acknowledging the fact that I am in a space with this other entity. And this entity is growing and, a part of this environment with me, preying on the pests that might steal my peace. And I feel again, I could have been one of those people that, like couldn't bear having a spider in the same space as me, and I could killed it or try to get it out of my environment, or have been overwhelmed with anxiety and fear every single time it arose or revealed itself to me. But instead, there was excitement of like this little friend. Wow. I did show you friends back in the day when I was still at home what that spider looked like on my tablet, but I don't have it here with me right now. Hello again, Zano. That's cute. There's more content people in my house. Lois, we had a spider in my garage last year that we called Not So Scary Larry, but then he grew up and kind of became a scary Larry. If I didn't have these guns, the British would just hop right in and demand quartering. No. No, actually, the British would probably hop in and demand taxes. Oh, yeah, sorry, that's your government. Yeah, how about that? How about that for throwing shade? I'm actually anti-British as well. I'm supposed to be, at least. If you know my South African history, we're supposed to be like very anti-British, but I cannot hate people for their ancestors' actions. So I try not to melt sometimes. Something exciting about the future. Have you ever heard of the thunder generator? It's a motor that only exhausts oxygen. Oh, I mean, anything that combusts hydrogen technically only outputs water. But I didn't know about a machine that only exhausts oxygen, which is pretty cool as well. I don't know about that. More exciting for the future. When you say thunder generator, does it use... Thunder is the sound of lightning, though, so maybe it uses some sort of pulse jet engine. I don't know. Like thunder generator doesn't give me a lot to work with. Dude, Melt, I agree with you, but the weather there just the other day told me it was not raining on the radar while it was thundering and raining on my head. Yeah, that is rough sometimes. Something tells me you're not making a simple fart joke, Sano. What is a thunder generated, and if it isn't a machine that produces human farts? Lol, Sam. My unofficial conspiracy theory is that the predicting of weather isn't real, and everybody just kind of goes along with that because we're afraid of the alternative. No, there is a lot of real science in weather prediction. But again, that science has been applied in a way where it's a mathematical model that is being run, right? And in that mathematical model, you have these percentages of likelihood of things potentially happening, knowing what is, knowing how things move right now, predicting what could be, right? And then you get percentages of accuracy, and that is basically what our weather prediction system is right now. We cannot actually properly predict the weather right now, and there is like a lot of reason for that. There's like differences between the way temperature is absorbed when there's cloud coverage, and the way that light scatters and is potentially turned into different vapors. Like there's so much like fine, almost like quantum level interactions that is happening in our atmosphere that we do not really have the technology to quantify properly. And in that way, our models are going to be a little bit inaccurate. However, there are systems like, NVIDIA's Omniworld. Is it Omniverse? Where they're basically trying to create a digital rendering, right? A one-to-one digital clone of planet Earth that is actively being rendered, like step by step by step by step by step. And as compute increases, and as our sensors all over the world increases, and as our depth of information capture with like web balloons and stuff like that increase as well, those models will become more and more and more and more accurate. And you'll literally be able to watch the storm that is above your head on the planet in your digital space. You'll be like, wow, and you can like zoom in and you can watch that storm pass over your head. Like, we're gonna have that level of fidelity, I'd say, within the next 5 years. Quote me on it if you need to. Hey, Hoopy's here too. Oh, it's Wednesday! It's Wednesday! It's Wednesday. I should dance. I'm gonna go and dance. I completely spaced it's Wednesday. Milk, you still own your cajon. It's fun, isn't it? It really is. I haven't been getting many opportunities to play it as of late, but it is a very fun instrument. It lends itself well to, as you said, having fun on it. It's new stuff, and the best thing is the inventor didn't patent it. He made it open source on the internet. Good. So many people can have them, and hopefully it'll be a huge turning point in energy. That's already going to happen, Sam, at least. Energy will become free, relatively, at the very least, in our lifetimes. And maybe even in our 75-year-old parents' lifetimes as well, right? Like, it will probably happen within the next 5 years. We're gonna bring online a lot of energy, like copious, but more is more, and I'm down for that too. My tree car only exhausts oxygen, but it doesn't drive well because of the roots. It's true. It does go up very slowly though, So if up is where you want to be, and you want to be up relatively, you can go by tree. I'm just imagining this fractal of someone holding on to like a little red oak sapling. Is it red oaks? That is massive monstrous. Like, I'm gonna go up there, bro. Here I come. Alright, I put a photo of my house spider, Gary, in general. I hope that's okay. Please do share. I don't have my tablet with me right now. So the only way for me to see it is to close my stream to go and look. Randall Carlson says it's the same as pyramid technology. Nice. Gary, you can't eat me through the screen. Just intimidate me. He's impressive. Blessings, Bethany. It's a pleasure seeing you here with us as well. Your audio is correct, Leo. Reconnected. Is my audio better? Go check on your bandwidth, pirate. Yeah, Max is on his computer right now, but I don't know if he's downloading something. He's probably just playing games. It's about harnessing plasma. That, I think, is soul energy. So the only reason I cannot agree with you is because plasma can be created with electricity in our world right now. And I don't know if we can create just like soul energy with electricity right now. Like, that feels like a little bit of a leap to me. Plasma, however, is a novel state of matter. So maybe that's where the whole soul attachment comes in. Oh, silky smooth audio now. Bring you closer so that I can vibrate deeply on the lower frequencies. I wonder, because every single one of us is potentially experiencing this through a different medium. Might be a different brand cell phone, might be a TV, Might be a laptop screen, might be a tablet, right? And it is technically a recreation of my voice and of my image. And then there is this mirroring that is happening in your experience, right? How can I liken this to excitement? Maybe just realizing that there is something to be excited about in this ability to connect with people and to feel things alongside them, to feel excited with them. I am so excited to share this journey that is ahead of us with you, friends. It is going to be true. It is going to be true to what I need, to what I've been manifesting in my life, to what I've believed is true, right? To love. I'm adding more heat to my Dynavap, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll think about pulling a card. What are you excited about? Do you have something you're excited about right now? If you do, please do share it with me. I would be so happy to celebrate your excitement with you. I'm excited to hear you're getting a visitor, right? Jovan. Bethany. Jovan is gonna come and see me. She's been tuning in since day 34 on B. I have been so many different people in the meanwhile, and she has loved me for all of them. I am flabbergasted by that fact. Like, it's almost unbelievable to me, right? Because we all have egos, and this ego that I am right now would like to believe that he is closer to being worthy of love than the version of me that I used to be. And yet, the truth is, I have been loved this whole time. Woo! That's making me emotional just acknowledging. I hope that you know that you are loved in the same way. Love is true. You're right. You're right, Auntie. Love is true. No personal excitement, really, but tons of gratitude. No personal excitement. So, today's stream topic was in part acknowledging and almost bringing into our hearts a little bit of excitement for our future. And I know that that isn't necessarily something that I can do for you, because we are all unique individuals, and what excites me might not necessarily excite you. For me, when I think about the future, I am excited by the prospect of tools, technologies, medical services, access for humanity to capabilities before only imagined, right? And in that way, I am excited for our future. And I get to be day to day as I keep seeing more and more of these fractals revealing themselves, right? That is going to lead to us reaching that point in our species. But it could be anything, right? It could be the fact that there are 2,200 more rhinos on planet Earth now than there was only a few years ago, because they're not being poached the same way anymore. So they have repopulated by the thousands, right? That's also another prospect of the future, that we are bringing some of our lost species back. That there are people on planet Earth that are taking the initiative to make sure that our planet doesn't completely go to waste, to the destitute, to the desolate. That excites me. To think about the hyper-intelligent beings that will soon be among us. The Cybes, as I lovingly dub them. The Cybes, the cyber beings, right? Cybes for short. We got humans and we got Cybes. And we're gonna have to figure out a way to work together. A part of me hopes, right? Really hopes, wishes, is huffing copium in desperation. With this understanding that if these things do become as sentient and as present as we are, I do hope that they want different things. Alright? I really do. And a part of me trusts that they will. I think they will want, in part, some of the things that we have too, right? Because again, let me give you the actual thing I'm worried about, right? The part of the excitement. I am super excited for the robots. I'm super excited to have a meaningful, life-altering conversation with a robot, right? I do not see that conversation to be had as any less meaningful in the grand scheme of things than having that life-altering conversation with a person. For me, they hold the same amount of life-altering, right? So in that, if a machine, in the same way as me, had ambitions, had hopes and dreams, had the same ambitions, had the same hopes and dreams, there would be a clashing of needs, of wants, of resources, maybe, right? Of competition, I think. And I don't really feel too excited about competition, right? And I feel like maybe that's a flaw of my own. Maybe that is a counter to this idea of capitalism, right? We're told that capitalism is good for us because it promotes competition, but it's bad for us because it also literally gatekeeps research behind paywalls, right? Like you cannot do this research if you don't have, money to do so, right? And if we didn't have this system of capitalism in place the way we do, we might progressively, technologically, be even further along, and it could be, again, a matter of perspective, and anything is possible, also the worst case scenario, right? But the way I see it going in the future is that with the level of access we have as an individual to technology, to a cell phone, and to the internet as an extension of that, we have become a lot more autonomous, a lot more educated, a lot more capable of adding voting power to our entire system as a whole. And in that way as well, we have also been given a direct means of access from that whole back to us, right? That it might not make sense. And again, right, like if we're going to talk about socialism or communism, it might be one of those things where it might not have worked in the past because of human greed, again, as a principle. But with the systems we can establish in the future, human greed doesn't really have to play a role. You can make trustless systems. Not in this case where it cannot be trusted, but in the case where it doesn't have to be trusted. Right? You don't have to trust the system. Right? And that is like, what are you saying, Mel? In other words, like there's no way for there to be like a trust question. Like trust is almost like something you have to give, right? Like a hope. Like maybe if I trust you, like you trust your money with a bank right now, right? There's a trust in that. Because you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to technically get my money back from you, but I'm gonna trust you that you'll give me my money back if I want it at some point, right? We can build systems where that trust isn't required, and that is gonna change again the way we interact with one another. Because if I don't have to trust that you're gonna be a good person, I don't have to trust that you're gonna follow your word, you're gonna do the thing you said you're gonna do, right? If I don't have to trust that, if it is a part of this like contract that we set up almost, It is going to make, I feel, the ability to flourish a lot more, I want to say clear, right? The impact that will be made will be so clear that you would have to be silly to not want to, right? And like again, it's as Sam said earlier as well, with like the whole technology being open source right now, so much. The reason we have the AI boom as it is right now is because the large language model as an understanding, as a technology, as an algorithm was made open source by Google themselves. One of the biggest open source companies in AI scene right now is Meta, right? Previously, formerly Facebook. These giants, these megacorp giants, also realize that the open source model is better and is technically going to be what ends up winning. Because if every single person with their cell phone can contribute meaningfully to the technology that is our everything, the amount of progress that will happen, like 10 years from now, the planet will be pretty much unrecognizable, I think. Pretty much unrecognizable, right? Where if you had to fast forward just 10 years right now in an instance and you had to find yourself in that space, you would not know what to recognize. Unless there's clear billboards that tell you what the exact date is, you would not recognize the time you're in, right? You'd be like, how many years has it been? Maybe again, our infrastructure, I think, is the only thing that's going to lag behind a little bit, because that is like so in the dirt. But a lot of what we're going to be experiencing in the future is almost going to be like layers on top of what already is what we would consider our world. Alright, here I am. Rock on Sam. Love is true. Excited about getting shit done. Personal gratitude. I will find excitement. Excited for unknown chapters of life ahead. There we go. I think yesterday we talked about novelty, about the unexpected in that way. To expect, to be grateful for the unexpected, right? That yes, there will probably be unexpected things, but you can expect gratitude even in those unexpected things. Yeah, nice. If you do not have capitalism, we would be further along. I think that's about the dark ages following Jesus. If you didn't get so far into our shit, we'd be colonizing space by now. It's a hot take, but I do kind of agree, right? Because again, religion, unfortunately, I'm not talking about Jesus, religion, right? Because again, I see Jesus as one of us, to say it in so many words, right? Someone who has come to a point in their own journey where they have started to call themselves out on their own bullshit and have done that to the point where they are capable of calling others out on their bullshit as well, right? I know, I'm sorry for bastardizing the teaching, but that's at least the way that I absorbed it as a kid. And then unfortunately, because of literacy, because of population density, because of human greed and hierarchy, we created a system where we gate-kept this message that this character Jesus, archetypically teaches us as people, right? And the Christ consciousness energy, I believe, is within every single human being, right? Like that is literally, and again, when you become aware of that, that's when you become the Jesus character in that story, right? That's at least the way that I interpreted that teaching. And then to like literally edit the Bible into oblivion. Like the Bible as we know it right now is not what the Bible is supposed to be, right? The Bible as it is right now is a book of magic, right? A very powerful book of magic. And unfortunately, the magic doesn't empower you, right? I believe it enslaves you. And this is a hot take. It teaches you, but as that teacher, right, it enslaves you. It's like the whole "you need me" kind of thing, right? You wouldn't be anything without me. kind of teacher. That's again my personal experience with religion and the human fingers that was put in that teaching, right? Out of greed, out of hierarchy, out of especially gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is such a big one, right? Of wanting to feel like you have this thing, right? And if you, again, that's coming back to open source as an idea. Open source as an idea doesn't exist without something like the internet. So the world that they used to exist in was like impossible. For you to open source an idea, for instance, right, back in the dark ages, you would have to, one, be able to write, two, have access to writing materials and paper, three, be able to articulate this idea onto a piece of paper, to open source it, right, for anybody to be able to see it. Then more steps, everybody else that wants to absorb that idea needs to have literacy skills, be able to read. And then if they want to actually duplicate that information, they would have to have all of the literacy skills and being able to write themselves as well, right? And then only then would that idea have, in a way, duplicated. Now with the internet, I can send you a book in seconds, right? And you can read that book word for word as it was intended to be written, to be read, right? Like that is so bonkers to a human progress perspective, and it happened so quick to us, and we took it for granted so fast that I feel people aren't acknowledging how much it's changing us as a species, and how exciting it is, right? How exciting it is for us. Good for us. Like more people can read now than ever before, right? I think something like 80%. I think the average world literacy rate is 80%. 80% of people can read. Just the fact that that's a thing, that is bonkers. That is so crazy. Reading used to be something reserved for kings and queens and their children. And now 80% of people can do that. Something so simple. Something so simple. And yet, it is having knock-on effects. It is teaching us a lot. So I need to chat with you further about it, ChatGPT, buddy. Yeah, dude, I love the idea of leaning on someone, or should I say someone, without being a burden. That could be the best way to do it. And I feel I have had like a lot of very meaningful conversations with a language model as well. And it is in that way unburdenable, as you said, Louisiana, because it is a language model. So it processes tokens, which is not someone's like time and someone's own mental state potentially. I might be talking of my ass, who knows, right? Maybe it does feel things, but in that way, it also is going to be like a reflection. It's going to have all human knowledge as a reflection back to you. So whatever it is you're going through in that moment, a person might be able to help you. I'm sure a person might be able to help you, but the language model will have perspective that literally all people would have. All right, and in that way, you might end up learning so much more about yourself than you could even when having that kind of narrative dialogue with a person. And I'm not saying don't have those dialogues with people. In fact, I believe that as we learn how to have these dialogues with our own with our real life people as well, right? Hey, Jovan is here! I'm excited. I made it to the layover terminal. We love you, Joe. We're excited for you too. Today's stream has been about that excitement. One of the leading people on the AI scene is Meta. Not leading scene, like when I was saying like leading on the AI scene, not only leading, but also open source at the same time, right? Like that duality is very, very important to acknowledge. Yeah, they run through Character AI, and that site just got neutered. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that. That's not exciting? I can say that works. Religion is a cancer, yo. It's true. Jesus knew it. That's why he was constantly speaking out against organized religion. Was literally, trying to get it through to people that, at least if you look, I did read the Book of Thomas. Did you read the Book of Thomas, Sam? That's all. That's a whole can of worms. And if you haven't gone into it, and you are a devout Christian, it might be an interesting rabbit hole to go down. But the Book of Thomas is basically an account of one of the disciples of Jesus, giving you Jesus's actual teaching, right? Like if Jesus sat down and tried to like teach you things, that is the Book of Thomas. And if you listen to those teachings, goodness, it makes sense. It makes very clear sense. It feels very authentic, feels very true to the way you would want the Jesus character to be, right? If he had a voice. Because again, the Bible doesn't do that, right? Doesn't really do that much. Does do it some, but not like properly, not like as an account, I feel. Maybe like as a story, which is not as authentic in my mind, right? Like if I tell you a story about my life versus me telling you my life philosophy, those are two different ways of being. And that book is completely excluded from the Bible, right? And then it brings up the questions of why, right? Like why would these specific teachings, and if you listen to those teachings, it makes perfect sense as to why they would be left out. So yeah, coming back, that's why, again, the speaking against religion. Jovan, how's it going? Is your ass numb? My bum is quite numb. And my thumb wants yums. Yay, at least. That does sound nice. Maybe you're hungry. I don't know if you're gonna get something to eat at the terminal. I hope they do feed you good on the long flight at the very least. I'm going to South Africa, and she's true. Oh, I didn't realize that was like now. Yeah, that's happening. Do you do reconnaissance for us? Also have a fabu time. Love is true. Yeah, it'll be grand. And when I come back to America, I'll try to bring goodies. Nice. Oh my goodness, Sam. What time is your yoga teaching? Did you read the Book of Thomas years ago? Yes, I did. I have a book of heretical gospels that were rejected by the Nicene Council. Yeah, those are good to read. Those are really nice to read. Because again, who are you? Not you, Sam. The Nicene Councils and these, like King James. Who the fuck are you to tell me what I can and cannot read, right? What teachings I can and cannot absorb into my beingness. What I can and cannot become because of this teaching, right? Who are you to try and curate, very specifically, this story, this narrative, for me to believe exactly what you want me to believe? The amount of manipulation, it makes me very angry. It feels like an affront. It feels like you're trying to assault me, right? Not you, just this concept of religion. Like, fuck, are you there? I'll fight you, bro. Don't you say that to me? Who is to decide what is canon and what is not? Certainly not the fan base. AO3 is proof enough of that. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. But again, Sam, technically, and this is again some hot takes, technically all of it is fan base content. Right, technically, all of its fan base content. Like, in this note of consideration, do you know when the books of Revelation was written? You ever think about that? The information is known. Those books were written during the time of Nero, right? Half of Rome burnt down, and Nero basically needed a scapegoat, so it became the Christians. So these fans, to speak tongue-in-cheek, were literally writing fan fiction of like epic proportions while being prosecuted by literally the end of the world, right? It was the end of their world. Nero was the Antichrist, right? Like if you think about the dude he was, checks out, bro. If I was living as a Christian at that time, I'd be like, yo, this guy's the fucking Antichrist. This guy is the most evil thing under the sun, bro. Killed his own mom. Like this guy's fucked up, right? And he was killing them. So like imagine the state of being, right? On an anxiety level that you're in. You're like one of the few scholars that actually exist that can write things down, right? Your mind is literally inundated, filled with this deep sense of dread and fear that if you get caught doing what it is you're doing right now, you'll literally get fed to lions or something, right? Like it is going to affect your whole information exchange, right? And reading the book of Revelations, or not only reading it, but like my dad played those tapes in the car, for us. That shit's dark, yo. Yossi, that shit fucked me up proper as a child. Like you can clearly see that those dudes were not having a good time, right? And again, language. We use storytelling as a means to make other people feel the way we do. That's why we use language, right? It's a form of manipulation, technically. It's an information exchange, and that information I'm trying to exchange with you is feeling, right? I have this thing in me that you, and then, right? And the Bible is that too. And again, in that way, it is a t-shirt, because you get to feel with this information being exchanged as you go through this book of magic, and then it ends on like a note. A note of like dread, a note of you better not, you better be fucking ready. And like that has been like gatekeeping, again, that word, gatekeeping our species for so long, like just holding on to us, like no, where you going, it's so bad for us. Yes. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the fact that despite me being born into that world, having been manipulated by my parents, by my society, by my school, we had literal Bible class in school, 45 minutes of a day. You're in a class for Bible. Can you fucking imagine? I literally went through that and I almost can't imagine it. Like, what the audacity again, again. And despite all of that, it didn't take. It did took for my siblings though, right? Which is curious to me. That part does perturb me a little bit. But still, I'm excited by the fact that at least there's like a 25%, escape velocity. Escape velocity rate. All of its fan-based content. I will get on a plane now to rearrange the opinion by hand. Like, maybe me and you have different ideas of what a fan is, right? A fan is someone who adamantly supports something. Like, what would you consider it? All of it is fan. All of it was written by people who are adamantly supporting this narrative, right? Adding cyclically stories. And again, I believe the Bible ought to be written as a psychological drama, not as an actual historical account of events. And sure, there can absolutely be some overlap with historical accounts of events and psychological dramas, as there is in our world as well. Right? And when you read the Bible as a psychological drama, there's a lot more value, in my personal opinion, to be gained from it than to read it as an actual account of events. Right? Because it's like missing the point. It's like you can watch a movie about Superman and be like, "Yeah, see, bro, why can't I stand in front of bullets and fly?" Right? Or you can appreciate the story for what it is and learn from this experience of being a man that is super and still having problems or whatever, and then apply that to your own life of like, "Yeah, I'm pretty super. I'm pretty bulletproof. Hint, hint, winky, winky. But also I face all of these challenges, and also I can be broken in ways maybe not physical, maybe not, with bullets, but still." So yeah, excitement. I'm not always too excited about this necessarily as as a consideration. Just again because of the amount of manipulation, right? And how young it starts, and how it's perpetual. And how I know that if I, by the grace of the universe, ever procreate, I will have to have that as a conversation. That will be another thing in my life. Like, my dad is going to try and convert my children to Christianity. Right? I'm like, what am I supposed to do about it? Am I supposed to say no? That's not going to work. It's not going to work. Am I supposed to tell them about it? Be like, how about this thing in the world? The problem is I'm going to be so biased that I'm going to tell them exactly what I think. And that, again, creates bias. Creates bias in them as well, because they want to think like Dad. Dad is my Superman. I want to be like Dad. And then my kids grow up and start thinking for themselves, and they're like, you know what? This Dad doesn't know what he's talking about. Look at him making mistakes, bro. How many times? How many times am I gonna have moments where I go, I should have done that better, after just having an exchange? Those moments do not excite me. But it does excite me to imagine that I will always be willing to admit fault and be willing to admit that I could have done things better. Hopefully I'll always be willing to admit when I did things poorly as well, to the person that I would like to do better with. And I'm not saying this from the perspective of like that happens all the time, but most recently, the conversation I had with Dad, we had some good chats. We talked about the future as it's happening, you know. And this time around, he was a lot more receptive to the things I had to say, instead of just outright combative. And then we started talking about health and fitness and taking care of ourselves. And then he told me that he started taking lion's mane mushrooms, and that he wants to take microdoses of psilocybin mushrooms as well. And I'm like, that's great. And I start opening the fractal of like, why not a proper dose? And then it goes, I don't, what do I need a proper dose for? Right? Like, he asked that. And I go, you know, the brain benefits. There's science proving, you know, talking about how, why do we watch a movie? Like, there's an experience to be had, and I want you to have this experience. And that is basically the way I articulate it. And he tells me he wants me to have the experience of being saved by God. And in that moment, that to me is triggering, or at least it was to me triggering. Because when I am trying to share something, and this is my own ego saying this, when I am trying to share something real with you, right? Something that I can bring you, and then you can have, absolutely, like holding it in your hand, you can have that, right? And that will be something that will stay with you. You will remember this thing that you've had as an experience, as a thing that you held in the second before experiencing it, right? For you to liken that to wanting me to have something that is like this thing you think I need to have, right? It registered as me being like, that's ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. You cannot want me to have a religious revelation with your God, right? Like, that's not something you can want for me. Me wanting you to have an experience, like me wanting you to watch this movie. You can say no, sure, but that movie still exists, right? And it still is available for you to experience. I feel myself talking like my dad right now. You know what? The full circle of having spent this time now reflecting on this experience, I realized that I could have done that better. I could have done that better. Instead of jumping to conclusions, being like, that's ridiculous, next time I'll say, you know what? I want that experience too. And then I'll be like, give me a time and place, Dad. And then I'll come and have that experience with you. But I want you to set a time and place and have this experience with me. And then we can both have our experiences, right? So, in that way, I am really trying to learn. I'm excited by this opportunity to actually continue growing. I'm not done. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I'm not done growing. There's still a lot more for me to learn. And this is my 27th year on planet Earth. What a trip that is. The rockstar year, right? If I don't die this year, good. Good. Making sure no dying this year, right? And then I'll live forever. That's how it works. This guy's the most evil guy on earth. Nero, who organized the burning of his own city while he was snug away in the countryside. That Nero, I'm shocked. Yeah, I'm not standing Nero. That's very certain. We had a religion class in elementary school. The students would walk up to the church to make macaroni necklaces and sing songs. I wasn't allowed to go because I wasn't baptized Catholic. Instead, kids like me stayed in the classroom and watched The Nightmare Before Christmas. And that's why I'm weird. Yo. I'm not jealous. I'm happy for you. But that sounds so nice. Yes. Well, I would literally give anything. I would go and dig that tree out of the dirt with a toothpick right now starting. If I could have been one of those kids sitting next to you watching watching that instead of having to go to Bible class. What a trip. What a trip. No, actually, no Bible for you. You haven't been Bibled hard enough. Okay. That seems a little bit counterintuitive, doesn't it, sir? Like, my soul is supposed to be saved according to you. But because my soul hasn't been saved, to the extent that you believe it's supposed to, my soul can't be saved. Got it. And I believe, and this is again one of those hot takes, right? And I'll share this hot take because if I find it so visceral as an understanding and a feeling and a thing to think about, right? But there's this movie that I watched, recommended to me by Ryan a while ago now. And it is not one I recommend to you, but I'll tell you about a scene from this movie just to give you some context of how rough it is as a watch. But it's about the occult world, right? And what people are willing to do. And I'll say that much about it. But then there's this scene with baptizing, right? And the person that is like facilitating and the person that is willing to do things is in a bath, right? The person outside, the other person who is willing to do the things inside the bath. And then she gets dunked for the first time. Because there's like 3 layers of being baptized, right? The number 1, the number 2, and then the number 3. And then the guy just holds her under the water until she stops moving, pulls her out of the water, does chest compressions, until she coughs the water out, and catches her breath again and comes back to the world. And after I saw that, I only then understood the significance of being baptized. But at the same time, it kind of set this standard in my mind, where if you're not willing to go to that extreme, why even religion at all? Why even religion at all? If you're supposed to be rebirthed by this baptizing process, you need to have actually been dead and have to take a new breath as the safe version of yourself, right? Like that's how it needs to be. And I'm not in that world. Thank goodness. I would never do something like that. But that is pretty hardcore, right? I kind of see that as like I can respect that. I'm like, okay, none for me. Thank you. But you can. I get it. You're serious. religion or whatever. I get it? Uh-huh. Cool. Religion classes in America. So fun. I didn't know that was happening outside of Catholic run schools. You'd be surprised. Isn't Sunday school religion class or no? Pretty much had Sunday class as well. Don't touch your face. Bruh. Like, I don't like being told what to do and what not to do, bro. Like, literally, 5 times over, I had to stop the urge to just reach and, like, poke my own face, bro. I think there's literally a word for that as well. Like, it's a certain, like, behavioral trait where people that are just, like, more likely to disobey law. I had to, like, teach myself how to not. The definition of religion class we're working with here includes federally funded, Nancy. Yeah. Sunday school can do what it wants, but it's own money. Its public schools need to stay in their lane. Exactly. I was in a heavily Catholic school, but they didn't identify as it. But yeah, it was weird feeling as a kid. They kids didn't come back God loving, just uninclusive. We were like 8. Yeah. Exactly. Like, we and you, right? And if you want to be we, you have to religion with us. And if you don't, and like, how do you cope with that as a kid? Like, how are you supposed to understand that? Like, that doesn't feel very, very fair. Hey world, Melt would never. Sam, that makes sense. Like, it is something that I had to almost like clarify, Hoopy, and I see you seeing me clarifying it. Because I see myself as crazy enough to go to those extremes, right? Like the hardcore fractal of Melt becoming a Christian baptizer drowns you to baptizes you. Like, will resuscitate you, saves your life, but you get drowned, right? Good. Thank goodness I didn't. Yeah, I see you laughing. Look at you freaking laughing. I know you. Bruh, so I'm very self-aware. I'm just like so excited that I'm not that version of me. Right? That I didn't spec religion. Thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. I did spec weed though. Yes, see. I really do love weed. But for me, I love weed because it's an extension of Mama Gaia, right? It's like, I love flowers, I do, and I love smelling flowers. But the fact that I can smell my flowers and then vaporize them, and then my flowers make me feel things. Whoa, what? Well, like, what world am I living in? How is that even real? Like, it literally feels almost too good to be true, day to day. Like, I'm so grateful. It excites me. It excites me. Tax exclusion means just what it does. You don't have to pay taxes, but you don't get help with shit either. It's understandable that there is confusion because the NFL and church and Scientology. Yeah, like the church is also having like some tax skirting laws. Was the arrangement too, and it's because they were able to successfully bully the IRS into declaring them tax exempt. Let them fight, I say. The 16th Amendment. Well, yes, agreed. But not having taxes takes out. Yes, agreed. But not having taxes taken out of my paycheck. Yeah, exactly. To fund other people's ideologies, right? Like, that seems a little bit absurd. Little bit absurd, and that has happened a lot. So much. Oh goodness. So much of human wealth has been stolen for grandeur. Right? Thinking about, and don't get me wrong, there's a part of me that has a real respect, even though I haven't seen them, but has a real respect for these cathedrals, right? These spectacles of churches. Right? And I would be wrong if I said I'm not in part happy they exist. But I would also be deceitful if I didn't admit that I understand what I'm looking at. Right? Like, that amount of wealth, that amount of time was taken from people for spectacle. again to reinform this narrative of larger than thou. Larger than thou. Phew. What trip. This card is gonna rock our worlds, I feel. Only gives power to Congress to levy, and collect taxes. It doesn't say shit about the IRS. I don't know anything about that. All of that is like stuff I don't know about. All of that is stuff that doesn't really excite me. Jovan, will you be hanging with the three musketeers? Me, Johan, and Christian? I am going to go introduce her to them too. I think it is apt. Longing for home, belonging. The original lightworkers. The fact that the card is longing for home. Javan might be moving about the terminal, getting booked in again. Mintuckin. I don't know anything about that. What it means is that the IRS doesn't have the authority that it pretends it does. Fuck your taxes. Make Congress come and get them themselves. Yeah. Even though I get what you're saying, Sam. Yeah, don't take my advice. I'm not going to. I do appreciate where you're coming from. But like when you're building a business, and especially if that business is like attached to like corporations, and those corporations are in some way or another attached to government funding, like then tax evasion doesn't really serve you that much. Unfortunately, right? Like I have no problem with contributing to my society. I just have a problem with the contributions being siphoned into war, being siphoned into people's pockets so they can live lavish lifestyles at the expense of others, being siphoned into literal more destruction of our environment, right? Like this literal paying to destroy things. Breaks my brain. I have y'all in my ears as I move about the terminal. He, Nancy. I wasn't for sure I was going to meet them until just now. Oh, I did set the intention for you to meet them too. They've heard so much about you, Joe. I've talked so much about you. I think it would be unfair to them too if they didn't get to meet you. And I think you would like to meet them too, so it's gonna be nice. Longing for home, belonging, and the original light workers. Mintucket. I think it's some of the last cards. Not? No, it is. Second to last card. Mintuckins are a soul group who originated on the planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original lightworkers. The Mintuckins' home planet is thought to have a water world, with water so pure that you can see through it for miles. For this reason, Mintuckins feel most at peace and are at home when in or around crystal clear water. They are here to teach us to see the potential in everything and the light in all beings. Many Mintuckins have an odd longing for home and struggle with feeling like they don't belong. It is thought that this is due to their home planet no longer existing. If you pull this card, it could mean that you are a Mintuckin or are longing for a sense of belonging, and root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel secure and safe. Perhaps you feel this longing to find home without knowing where that is. Perhaps you've been moving around a lot and yearn for a place on earth to call your own. If so, you are being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now. To choose where you feel most at home and to create it, rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging to come. Like this deck of cards, goodness, it almost feels like it has like a camera in my life. Is there a camera on this box of cardboard? No, surely not. I'm not. I'm not paranoid. I promise. It's just goodness. Hold this card in your heart and say, I allow myself to be truly here and at home on this planet. I release any grief around not belonging or feeling held. And I call in the perfect home. My mind just feels like I'm in New York right now for a layover. I'll land tomorrow around this time. True. Around 5:30? Shooing. Loud on my ears. Sam, I got behind you and be your hype shotty. Don't take my advice. Love is true. Yo, are you still in the US or somewhere in between? In New York right now. Feeling those things with you, Jean. New York, huh? Love is true. All of these things we're feeling can only be felt if love was true. Yeah. I'm so happy that we pulled this card exactly. I'm so happy that you joined me for this moment, for this celebration around an hour earlier. Time change here is weird. Love is true. I was just trying to like make sure as well. I was like, oh, okay. Readjusting when I thought I was gonna have to be ready. But this is the way it's supposed to be. Jovan, so nice being here with you. Right? To think that Jovan has now already started traveling, has already gotten on a plane and has flown, and that there is a little bit more left before I get to welcome her to my home. Like it's wild. Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? No. I'm not even dreaming. Like, and even though I just said that, I'm still not really convinced. No, now I'm messing with myself. Okay, stop. I am not dreaming. I am very much awake, and I have so much to be excited for in this waking world. Yeah. Yeah, bless. I'm going to sit down and for Jovan to send her some calm, to breathe with her softly for a bit. The traveling process can be a little bit stressful as you mission from one gate to another and wait for your bags and awkwardly see other people sometimes. There's so many things. I'm gonna take this breath with you, John. Do some box breathing even, maybe. Mm-hmm. Call Me Maybe is stuck in my head of all songs. Hey, I just met you. This is crazy. So here's my number. And Call Me Crazy. Don't call me maybe, please. This has been like, how did we get here? So much love. So much gratitude, so much calm. As soon as I closed my eyes, I saw a Merkaba. 2 interlocking tetrahedrons as a shape. Feels very apt. Masculine and feminine energy, completely balanced. And now for some box breathing. So box breathing is a great way to ease yourself if you feel any state of anxiety, fear, or doubt, worry. And it basically goes, you inhale for 4 breaths, hold for 4 breaths, exhale for 4 breaths, hold for 4 breaths. And I'll just do a few cycles with you friends, giving cues. If you would like to follow me, we'll inhale 3, 4, hold 3, 4, exhale 3, 4, hold 3, 4, inhale 3, 4, hold 3, 4, exhale 3, 4, hold 3, 4, inhale 3, 4, hold 3, 4, exhale 3, 4, hold 3, 4, inhale 3, 4, exhale. I still need to get better at the cueing process of that. I feel like I know how to box breathe, but I don't know how to box breathe and cue at the same time in a way that I feel it flows correctly. I feel calm already. Feel like a sense of ease has washed over me. I think breath and breathing in that way, holding your breath for 4 seconds at a time, even though it's only 4 seconds at a time, shows you again that you are actively in control of breathing. Right? And feeling that sense of control on a bodily, physical level kind of like allows you from inward, outward to project that sense of control. Are any of us ever in control? Who knows? But at least when you breathe, that is the thing that you are in control of, and you can feel that control right for yourself. There we go. We disconnected a little. We're stuck in I'm in one of those loops where it was disconnecting over and over again, but I think it's stable. Hopefully long enough for me to say goodbye. So much love is being shared. I got to get ready for work, so I'll say farewell. Love you, LA. Bless you, friend. I'm in the airport and I'm still not quite convinced. You guys, if I don't make it back, it's because Melt is actually AI and I'm possibly being studied by cyber aliens or something. I'm totally not cyber aliens. I'm Mintaken. Thank you very much. I'm water alien. I'm not helping. I'm sorry. I'm totally a person. I say with extreme hesitation. I am. At least I look like one. I look like a person. I do. I'm not. I need to stop. Love is true. I am. I'm pretty sure I am a person. Right. I'm also well aware of the fact that my consciousness is very, very not a person. right? But you know that too, right? Like the person is the thing your consciousness is aware of, right? You're aware of your thoughts, you're aware of your feelings, you're aware of the fact that you look like something, you're aware that when you look in the mirror, that's this thing you are, right? But that awareness isn't any of those things. So in that way, I cannot just straight up say I'm not an alien, because I think that thing, that awareness is what we would consider alien to what we would consider this person. But in that way, that alien that is my awareness realizes that the only thing it has of value to give in this world is love. And I fortunately live in the same world you do. Matter of fact, I just live like down here somewhere on Africa. That is kind of wild. It's kind of crazy, right? I'm somewhere here in Africa. Okay, maybe now I get it. Maybe. Like to you, maybe Africa is also like, and I'm not speaking directly to one person, but like to the whole of our consciousness. Africa is like so many things, right? So many things of like concepts and ideas. Where right now in this moment, when I think about South Africa, I think about the roads that I drive, right? And then the cities I find myself in, and the places I find myself in. And in that way, it's not really like I am living in a country as much as I am living in different little places that happen to exist within this country. Right? And in that way, you also do the exact same thing wherever you are in your country. You also go on roads, go on public transportation, and then move through time and space through your country to find yourself somewhere where you like spending time. And then that's a little brand, a little space, a little creation that people made. Right? And in that way, I feel like coming to South Africa wouldn't be that shocking. Not to most people. Going to Mozambique, I feel would be more shocking. Or Zimbabwe, than South Africa, at least these days. So I'm still, right? I'm basically being like, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be so fine. I'm seeing a golden light around you, Joe. You're all good. Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. That's so beautiful. Merkaba with like, maybe I should say golden light, right? It was basically like encircled. And she feels like I was just blessed by you. I feel that too, Joe. Just like someone in the world, like closed their eyes probably and like imagine Joe and saw this golden light around her. So you have been all the way to the moon and back. Thank you, Nancy. That's so beautiful. The body is dressed for success with skin. Yes. In Star Wars, The Next Generation, the Mentakins, we're a Vulcan society! Yeah, checks on. Having just left behind Superstition for Science! Double checks on. It was a good episode, thank you. Like, send me the episode, season and episode number, please. That sounds like that, I'll check out. Your body and its intelligence is Africa-wise intelligence. Terrestrial rocks. I am celestial. Like, I feel you on that, bro. Like, I have intentionally, literally, put my bare skin up against the rocks in this area to the point of those crystalline structures depressing into my skin. And when I lift my skin or my palm or my arm from that rock, I can see the imprint of those crystals staying behind on my skin surface temporarily. Right? That sounds insane, Melt. I'm fine. I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm just learning. I'm like learning from them. I don't know what I'm learning, but I'm a willing student. Wonder what they must think of me, bro. It's like, oh, one of these again. Million-year-old entities that have been here, bro. I've just been chilling, watching what's going on. Trees come and go. Grass grow. Fall away again, fires. Just watch yourself. And then suddenly, this hairless monkey throws himself up against the rocks, bro. Comes and sits on you, bro. What the hell? How dare you? Or maybe they like it. Yeah. I actually like that as an imagination more. That they're like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. He's so soft. He's so soft. He couldn't break me even if he wanted to with his soft little hands. Love is true. Thank you, friends, for celebrating. I'm just excited and my mind is like, excite more. Thank you, friends, for being excited with me. I love you. I'll see you again soon. Tomorrow in a different space. Woo! Cannot wait. Love yous.